and welcome to my craft channel, and I hope I'm welcoming you back again. Today I'll be working on a wooden lantern from Deco Time from Action from the year 2024. I am recording this video in 2025, so I want to make it clear that this project is from last year. From what I know, in some countries these sets can still be found this year, but in Poland you most likely won't find them in action anymore. I have two lanterns from last year, although there were 3 models available. Why didn't I assemble them last year? Because I bought them with the intention of using only the lantern itself. I simply wanted to assemble just the lantern and put a candle inside. Of course, a battery operated one, because otherwise everything would probably burn down. Another issue was the lack of a concept. I didn't know how to finish them. I had no idea for a color scheme, a complete creative blank. Now I finally pushed myself to do it and decided that I would make the whole thing, including the little scene inside, and follow the style of my music boxes, which means there will be lots of glitter. If you're curious to see what will come out of this, I invite you to join me on this journey. Look, I haven't even opened it. Here we have the original lights, but they are really poor. There are only a few LEDs, they don't have a timer, and they can blink in a very annoying way. So I definitely won't be using them. We have the panels and the film for the windows. Let's see what the panels look like. This looks quite complicated. Everything is very small, and of course there's no instructions on how to assemble it. A kind of logic puzzle. Figure it out yourself. This is incredible. Do you see how many parts there are? No instructions at all. Seriously. And yeah, here I have to somehow figure out what goes where and how. Great. Okay, I'm starting by cutting out of the elements from the panels, and now I'm painting the pieces that should be black. I have the first layer of black paint. Now I'll take care of the elements that require transferring the pattern to the other side. I'm using the tracing paper trick for this. The boxes are easy. I can manage without tracing paper. I also have to prepare Santa myself, because I want him to have the details that Santa has on the back, so I don't need his face or mustache. He definitely has a white pom-pom on his hat and white fur on the hat and a white collar on his coat. From the back you will also see the cuffs of the sleeves, the belt, the fur at the bottom of the coat, and the cuffs of the trousers. Now I'm going over these outlines with a kind of pointy tool to engrave the contours into the plywood. And Santa is ready. The sacks only need the string to be marked. For the spruce tree, I'll just mark the outlines with the pointy tool. I'm going back to the black paint, starting with Santa. And now, my visualization. Inside the black lantern, in the golden glow of warm light, I see a scene where a cheerful Santa stands in front of his shimmering sleigh, loaded with bags of presents. Behind the sleigh, there is a spruce covered in glistening snow. The snow also sparkles around and beneath Santa's feet. Around the sleigh on the snow there are presents waiting to be loaded. From the top part of the lantern, through the star-shaped holes, warm golden light shines through. The whole lantern sparkles. On the handle at the top, attached with a red ribbon, hangs a holy ornament. So the base inside has to be white, because it's supposed to be covered in snow. That's why I am applying gesso first. Same for the white parts of Santa. Among my paints, I managed to find a color that matches human skin. It will be useful for Santa's face. The sleigh will be brown. The trunk of the spruce as well. Now it's time for green. after the green, I will move on to red. I have this copper paint and I thought that this open work pattern might look nice in that color, although I'm not sure whether it will be visible in the final effect. As for the sacks, I wanted them to look a bit like sisal, but I ended up with some sort of grey-green color. Time for some gold accents. And this is the moment when the elements are practically all painted, and suddenly I get the idea that it would be good to sand the plywood to even it out. Of course, afterwards I had to repaint everything black because I partially rubbed the paint off. As you can see, we are a few steps further. The upper inner parts of the lantern are painted gold. This is to give the effect of warm light at the top. Now I am applying glitter to the scene elements. It is glitter mixed with clear varnish. The inner part of the base is already painted white and you can see the first layer with glitter. Now I'm applying another one. I want everything inside the lantern to sparkle. This time I'm using a ready-made acrylic medium with glitter. I also plan to add some loose glitter in a larger particle size to this medium at the end. Santa only needs the fine glitter. Now the spruce tree. On both sides I painted it green first with the trunk in brown. Then I applied green glitter. Later I added white paint to imitate snow and finally applied the same glitter that I'm using on all the parts painted white. I finished the holly ornament this way. I painted the leaves green and covered them with green glitter, and the berries I painted red and covered them with red glitter. The little ring I painted with gold paint. As you can see, I painted the walls with black paint. On the inside I applied a delicate layer of glitter, and on the outside I highlighted the frame with gold. At this stage I am still wondering whether to leave it like this or add a subtle layer of glitter on the outside also. Now I will apply another layer of gold paint. For this I put some paint on a tray, add water to make it more fluid so that it spreads more easily. And of course I have to mix the paint with water thoroughly. Now that it is fluid, it is easier to apply. The color scheme of this lantern is black and gold. The white patterns on the windows do not fit at all, so I will change the white color to gold using a marker. decided that I would also apply glitter to the exterior parts of the lantern to brighten it up a bit. I do not want it to be heavily glittered like the elements of the inner scene. I want the lantern to remain black and only have a subtle shimmer. I am using a ready-made acrylic glitter medium, which I also diluted with water, and while applying it, I try to keep the glitter dispersed. I have all the elements ready. I am starting the assembly, and here I really had quite a dilemma about how to approach this, because there is no instruction manual. Maybe it does not matter how it is assembled or which parts connect to which, but having instructions would definitely help. Unfortunately, this inner structure does not hold on its own, so I began with the chimney walls, because only those can support the internal frame, just like this, except that this is not a very sturdy structure. To reinforce it, I have to glue it. I apply glue to the part with the handle from underneath, where the second arm attaches. Now I will assemble it and it should hold. I think I used too little glue. Alright, let's do it again. I will also reinforce the wall joints with glue. Now I am attaching the chimney roof elements. Time for the lantern roof. You know what? I don't like that there are gaps and holes here. I think I know what I can do about it. Of course, fill them with hot glue. As you can see, I grouted the chimney off camera. I disassembled the roof so I could connect it to the chimney using hot glue. And there we go, a roof without holes. Now I need to mask the glued areas by applying a layer of black paint. The glue ceiling is now masked. I am applying a light layer of glitter. I don't know if you noticed it, or if it's even visible on camera, but I painted the edges of the cut-out stars and window openings in the chimney gold, so that light would reflect off them. The base is now ready. As I mentioned, I will not be using the original lights. I have a nice set of warm lights with a timer that I salvaged. I removed them from a frame I bought for one of my diamond paintings. The size of the frame was perfect for me, but the lights were unnecessary and just got in the way. There happened to be 8 lights in the set, which means I will use 4 at the bottom and 4 at the top. And it just so happens that they are arranged on a wire in groups of 4 right next to each other. Then is a longer gap and then another group of 4. Perfect for this project. They are powered by AAA batteries, so I think those batteries will last longer for these 8 LEDs than button cell batteries would. The original set had 6 LEDs, so here I have 2 extra lights, a timer and larger batteries. I think I will place the battery pack at the bottom. The lantern can easily rest on it. I will assemble the sleigh. The sleigh is assembled. For now, only the bags are on them. I already glued the battery pack underneath and I attached the lights with hot glue exactly where I wanted them. One light for each wall. Now I am covering the wires with glue. See, here are the batteries. Now I will paint the glue that covers the wires with white paint. Later I will apply glitter over it. This way the wires will be hidden under the snow. Time to glue the window foil. This time I am using super glue. Base, I have already placed the sleigh, the tree, Santa and a few presents. The tree does not look very stable. I will reinforce it with glue. Now I will arrange the presents. Time for the walls. The camera battery ran out, but the only thing you missed was me gluing the wire in the corner between the walls. I am continuing. The walls keep spreading apart, so I am securing them with hot glue. Last wall. Yay! Now I am figuring out how to position the lights. I decided to bend the wires and glue them to the upper part of the walls. 3 LEDs will be enough under the roof and one higher up inside the chimney. The plan was good until I put the roof on, because the last spot I glued the wire to ended up directly under the roof's support beam. Brilliant! But it holds together somehow. In the end, I added a few stars and attached a holy ornament using a red ribbon with a gold accent. I am still not fully convinced about this project. I think that a simple LED candle inside would have been enough, and it still would have looked quite charming. It's a bit too small for such detailed scenes. You really have to look closely to see what's inside. But I went through the entire process without shortcuts. What do you think? I would love to hear your opinion. To everyone who made it this far, thank you very much for watching until the end. Thanks for the likes and comments. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet, because the next lantern is already waiting in line, along with other interesting projects. Bye!